Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And this time I bring you System 3's 1989 shoot-'em-up Dominator. Part of it's vertically scrolling and part of it's horizontally scrolling. And we've got this rather interesting tune which has admittedly some slightly dubious pitches within it. Not the most pleasant beeper tune I've ever heard, but I'm not going to knock a game for having music on its menu screen until I have a chance to actually play it. Oh dear, it's not as bad as some beeper tunes I've heard, but it's not particularly great either. Now, System 3, who were also responsible for the really well-received Last Ninja games, especially on the Spectrum, especially Last Ninja 2, which is absolutely superb and is worth checking out if you haven't already. So this is them having a go at doing something a bit different with scrolling and shoot 'em up, and in this one the main difference is you actually go inside a mutant beast and have to destroy its entrails from the inside in order to kill it. Oh dear, this music. So before I overly soften the wax in my ears, let's just set the keyboard for the zone 1. Okay, I accidentally pressed quit because I don't know what the keys are. Oh, sugar lumps. Yeah, alright, get on with it. Oh dear, the key layout isn't exactly ideal. I mean, we've got... oh, piss. We've got X for left, C for right, and V for fire. Nice sound effects though for a 48K Spectrum. Oh, sugar. Explosion sound effects are quite nice too. Oh, poo! Did that again. And I've got to put on that god-awful music again. Why can't you redefine the keys? These keys are not exactly the greatest keys I've ever used. Oh, I've paused it. Scrolling's quite smooth. Ugh. Oh, what? That didn't even touch me. Oh, I can actually use A and Z as up and down respectively. Seriously, who thought of that keyboard layout? It's really uncomfortable. I mean, it's really cramped. And what's worse is the instructions don't actually even tell you what the keys are, which is ridiculous. I really hope that the enemy ships are going to be a bit more interesting than this. I mean, all I've seen are drip and coin and blob shaped things. That didn't even hit me. I can't predict the movement of these damn things. Again, that I didn't even hit that. And more of that horrid music again. Okay, maybe it's not horrid. I've heard far worse on the spectrum, but it's not great. I can't believe I'm shooting things that look like coins. I mean, this enemy here is about the most creative enemy I've seen thus far. What the hell are these things? Oh, get lost! I never even hit that. Oh, don't tell me it's sending me right back to the start every time I lose a life, because that's really irritating. It's yeah, it is, isn't it? These are the same waves that I saw previously. So you get sent back to the start of the level every time you die. At least that's what it looks like thus far. The controls are responsive enough, and the ship's not too slow and not too fast. I wouldn't say this was the most original game in the world. And apparently I'm supposed to be flying inside this being to try and kill it piece by piece, but I've proceeded... Ah, now we're finally getting somewhere. Ooh, nice bits of animation on the shit, on the... Okay, so it seems like I can't shoot that. Ooh, this is actually starting to look a little bit more interesting. Oh God, don't send me back to the start, please. No. Oh, kiss my arse. Why does it have to send you right the way back to the start? I mean, something like that could have been a really good checkpoint. What? That didn't even touch me. Oh, dear me. Well, System 3, after the brilliant Last Ninja games, this is a bit of a come down for you. This is actually quite wobbly. Oh no. I've got a key in my name, this stupid arcade style. Why I can't just type it? Ugh. Let's give this another whirl now. I've got the use of controls, and it's just a shame that the hit detection's so iffy. It's not miles out, but it's enough off to be a big problem. And it's not one of those where you can actually just hold down the fire button to keep firing. It's no auto fire in this. You have to press the button repeatedly. Why can't you redefine the keys in this? Because what it's forcing you to use isn't exactly the most comfortable thing. No, God, that's close. I would have got really ticked off if I'd been killed from... Ah, good. You bugger! I'm sure I hit that. I mean, shot that rather than hit it. Obviously, hitting it's not a good idea because touch anything in this, you die. Here, I just defeated the coins of death. Seriously, what are these? See, I'm sure I hit that blob thick. See, some of these bullets are clearly going straight through the enemies. Why are there stars in the background if this is supposedly inside a being? Unless this is supposed to be something akin to the mouth and we haven't actually got inside it yet. Oh, shut your face! I'm bloody nowhere near that. And of course he's going to send me right back to the effing start. Yeah. This is not... Oh, God alive. I'm actually starting to get really angry now. I mean, there's a potential for a fairly good shooter in this, and it's let down by some irritations that really didn't need to be the case, such as these really cramped keyboard controls, which it's forcing you to use because you can't redefine the keys. Oh, sod off! I hit you. I mean, I haven't even seen any of the extra weapons that are clearly available in the top left corner. God, how did that not hit me? Every time I try and do something like that, it blooming wastes me. I really want to get to the other levels, but my understanding is this is the only vertically scrolling level. Once I've got past it, the rest of the game's horizontally scrolling. That's what I've read, anyway. I mean, on the plus side, at least it's not one of those vertically scrolling shooters in which you can't see anything due to the background being too detailed. Such as in my Gemini Wing review, for instance. Does slow down a teensy bit. Nice use of colour on those tooth-like things, and they've done it in such a way that it can scroll down smoothly without clash. Right, this is the furthest I've got thus far. These backgrounds are really starting to look quite interesting now. No! Oh, God. I would have been really pissed off with that. Oh, good, you can shoot these. God, that was a tight gap. Why are my bullets only going that far? Oh, shut your face. Why can't you just type in your name? I mean, on a console, that would be understandable. This is a computer. Oh, God, balls to that. Right, one more go. Then whatever happens, I'll give my... unless it's a really short go, then I'll give my verdict. Nice crunchy sound effects for the things exploding. And when you're not firing anything at all, it's not complete silence, which also helps to build a little bit of atmosphere, even though the sound effects aren't exactly the same as what it might have been had there been, say, in-game music. Oh, what? That didn't even touch me, and you know it. And even though I got all that way at the end of that previous game, I still haven't seen any extra weapons. I know there are some, because that's what all that stuff in the top left corner is about. Why couldn't they have just made it auto-fire so I didn't have to repeatedly press the fire button? It does cause wear and tear. Goodness me. Don't you dare. Thank you God for that. So it seems like the enemies always follow their set patterns for the most part. Only in those bits with those strange coin-like creatures did some of them seem to do different things depending on which ones I destroyed first. Well, that's what it looked like was happening anyway. Oh, God! I'm really starting to get annoyed now. Right back to the bleeding start. System 3, why didn't you have a checkpoint system? Oh dear me, it looks like I'm not going to get to those horizontally scrolling sections because I would have loved to have seen those. I mean, even just seeing an extra weapon would make a change because I've gone all this way and I've not seen any of that yet. Nice use of coloured stars in the background. Well, nice use of colour generally. Little bit of clash with the explosions there. What? I clearly hit that. Those those teardrop shaped things really worry me because their pattern seems to be really hard to predict. Oh God. Oh, see, look, I clearly hit that second one. And now I've got to go all the way back to the blooming start again. Oh, flipping hell. I'm actually going to leave it on that screen because otherwise I'll have to put up with that rather iffy music on the title screen. So I'm going to leave it on the on this high score table screen so I don't have to talk over that. So that's Dominator by System 3 for the ZX Spectrum. A somewhat unremarkable scrolling shoot 'em up. I know they tried to do something a bit different by having it so you actually go inside an enemy to destroy it piece by piece as the main plot device. So it's a bit like you're doing a Fantastic Voyage or Inner Space. If you've seen those films, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So graphics, some pretty impressive stuff in there. There's some nice animations, not only on the enemies but in the background. Although the actual design of the enemies is somewhat lackluster. I mean, what's with those coin-shaped things, for instance? I mean, what's that all about? Would there really be something shaped like that inside a being's body? And they don't really look like blood cells or anything like that, so that doesn't really wash with me if someone's trying to tell me, oh, they're just blood cells. They are disc-shaped. Yeah, well, those look more like coins. And there's some quite nice animations on the on the actual bits of the walls that you saw towards the end of one of my times when I managed my attempts when I managed to get quite far in that level. Sound is pretty good for a 48K Spectrum. Some it's not deathly silent when you're not firing, which is always a plus, because that helps to have a little bit more of atmosphere than there might otherwise have been. Nice crunchy explosion sound effects. The only bit of the sound I've seen that lets it down a little is that intro music. Some of the pitches of that music seem a little off, and it's not particularly pleasant to listen to. Gameplay, pretty average. While the ship controls is responsive enough to the controls, the keyboard controls of AZXCV for up, down, left, right, and fire, they're not particularly comfortable, and it's really... I just can't understand why System 3 didn't have the ability to redefine keys. And you seem to have to get a long way before you even need to get to think about using extra weapons. I mean, I got all that way and I didn't see a single one. I mean, I only even know they're extra weapons because of that display that's in the top left corner of the main game screen. Otherwise, I'd have been led to believe that there weren't any. And for a 1989 game, that would have been unforgivable. But the other issues seem to be the hit detection being a little off, and being sent back to the start of the level every time you die. There is no reason why they couldn't have put in a checkpoint area. I mean, is the game really short? Is that why they've made it so you go back to the start every time you die? Because that would really be a shame, given that given System 3 did some pretty good games. This is a wobbly one, I'm sorry to say, System 3, and it really is a shame that you thought that this was good enough for release. So I'm going to give Dominator for the ZX Spectrum 6 out of 10. Smooth and looks quite nice and colourful for a Spectrum game. Well, fairly nice. It's not as colourful as, say, R-Type, which came out before Dominator. But the game itself is just too frustrating, and there's just not enough about it that really helps it to stand out from other similar shoot-'em-ups. So 6 out of 10 for Dominator. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope to catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.